At the dawn of time, one of the strongest beings Veldanava created who could stand toe-to-toe against even true dragons were the Primal demons. However, their birth was actually an accident, because when the Star King split the Great Holy Spirit, the 7 angels of origin were born through the Spirit of Light. However, the Spirit of Darkness also gave birth to a counterpart for balance, which were the 7 primordial demons, with Red or Ghee Crimson as the first and strongest of them all. Being the first demons had a few advantages, like these 7 were on a completely different level as they quickly took over the Daemon Realm or Hell, where all demons come into existence, starting out as a member of one of these colored houses. This realm in Tensura exists in parallel to the other world where angels, insectors, and the evil dragon Ivaraj reside. However, it is only through the Hell Gates that these phantoms can come and attack Veldanava's favorite world of them all, the Cardinal World, where our boy Rimuru is having his fun at. So from the very beginning, there is a bit of a rivalry or conflict between the phantoms and the demons. For example, Diablo for eons was a thorn at the first angel Feldway's side by constantly blocking him from using the portals from hell. Now look, I've been promising to make this Cronoa time loop video for months, and there's good reason for why it's taking so long, as I have to reread volume 11 and 12 and 10 to... Man, these editors are always exposing me. Like, look, Genshin Impact is an open world adventure game where you can do whatever you like, getting away from the troubles in the real world, like understanding this freaking time loop. It's not just me playing it, because there are over 60 million players hanging out, going on adventures with their favorite waifus, while the editors are just jealous I rolled Noel last month. Guys, I'm only playing a few hours a week. These allegations have to stop. You think 12 hours is a lot? I'm gonna be playing Genshin for 20 plus hours straight soon, because the Xbox version of Genshin Impact is releasing on November 20th. Also, Hoyoverse is holding a pop-up event in London during August 31st to September 1st at the address on screen right now. Here, you can join in the interactive check-in to get stickers and postcards, have a chance to participate in the trial activity to experience the wonderful adventures in the land of Tevet. You can even come and find the mysterious slime box. And don't forget about the new region Natlan releasing with the 5.0 update, where you can surf, fly, and climb your way across this majestic land. This is the best time to start getting into Genshin, and don't forget to wishlist the game now on Xbox. So please click the link in the description now. If a lot of you click, maybe they'll give me Primo gems next time. Thank you. However, Hell isn't really a fun place if you aren't strong, as it's a full-on battle royale over there. A demon's purpose is to enter constant battles to prove themselves, and a demon only dies when their core is destroyed. But if you're a primordial demon, then you just revive after a bit of time. But if you never lose, you basically become a god in terms of strength, and these primordials are literally that. Remember that archdemon Orthos Shizu encountered at the end of season 1, who took over an entire small nation and was stronger than like 99% of adventurers? Well, he was a fodder level 100-year-old Baron archdemon. To give perspective, if you reach the age of over just 400 to 1000 years and become a count, you're considered a calamity level disaster for the Cardinal World. So now, let's take a look at how old the Primals are. Oh yeah, they've been here since the dawn of time. They're fucking billions of years old. But with them still being demons, they had to fight each other to prove their worth. However, this infighting quickly stopped after Blue and Green got packed by Red, leading to their reincarnation. After which, it turned out that whenever a primal demon loses to another, they become a servant to the victor. This left the other primordials speechless. They didn't know what to do, so a stalemate was formed. But our boy Noir, he didn't give a fuck, and he challenged Guy himself to a battle, resulting in a draw that earned Diablo Guy's respect. After this, the primordials all went their separate ways. Guy and his servants were summoned to the Cardinal World, leaving a power vacuum, while Noir couldn't give two shits and just kind of went off on his own. It's Diablo, bro. What do you expect? While the last 3, Yellow, Purple, and White, decided to never engage in combat, instead fighting in games that employed cunning strategies to outsmart each other. In present day, all the primordials now exist exist within the cardinal world, not to mention they are all nerfed within there. First, we have Red, or Gi Crimson. He reigned supreme as the strongest demon in the underworld, defeating 2 Primordials and forcing them under his command. However, after this event, no one else wanted to fight him besides Diablo, whom he drew with and eventually was summoned to the human world. It was here where he was tasked with destroying a country's enemy nation as the Archdemon. This was of course light work for him, as he would crush millions of souls, undergoing the Harvest Festival and becoming a true demon lord. However, Guy didn't give a shit about the humans who had summoned him, and so along with his subordinates, he murdered them all. Eventually, Guy encountered Veldonava and challenged him to a fight, but got clapped pretty easily, because you know, that's freaking God. Why are you messing with him? So he instead became Veldonava's servant, with the true dragon tasking Guy to maintain balance and order within the cardinal world, granting the demon the title of arbitrator. And to make things easier, Guy had also unlocked the unique skill Pride. But after this, a very important person comes into his life. Guy's Pookie, Velzard. After learning Guy fought her brother, Velzard gets extremely petty and jealous, so she challenged Guy to a battle, which was fought to a draw, with their battle literally turning an entire continent into a frozen tundra. And oh yeah, also Guy's unique skill, Pride, it evolved into the ultimate skill Lucifer. But the biggest dub of Guy's life was securing Velzard as a girlfriend. Guy being able to fight at equal against a true dragon is a testament to his power, but more importantly, his skill, because Velzard is one of the main users of Suspended World, where her power to slow things down has an effect over time itself. This is the same power that even Rimuru couldn't contend against until volume 19, and Diablo didn't have a counter until the recent volumes, yet Guy managed to draw against it. And if Guy was drawing with Velzard, he could definitely defeat Veldora with no sweat, as Velzard was one-tapping the Storm Dragon regularly to teach her brother a lesson.
That's why he's the GOAT!
After reconciling with Velzard, Guy just kind of chilled at the Ice Continent for, well, forever, fulfilling his duty as arbitrator only when needed to, which basically meant he would just send Rain and Misery to like kill a bunch of humans to make sure the humans were kept on their toes, not destroying themselves. However, this all changed when the first hero Rudra came around the block looking for some smoke. The moment Rudra stepped into Guy's domain, he could see the greed in the hero's eyes, so he did what any self-respecting demon lord would do. Shattered Rudra's precious armor with a single strike. Bro actually started crying over it, as it cost his country's entire yearly budget. But there was something amusing about Rudra. His little party had managed to make it through Misery the Green and Rain the Blue, 2 of Guy's most formidable subordinates. That kind of determination deserved some attention, if only to break the monotony. So Guy decided to entertain them. Their battle raged on, but it quickly became clear that neither of them truly intended to kill the other. Rudra even had the nerve to laugh when he found out how the Primordial Red chose his name Guy. It was just a sound bro made in battle, which made Rudra laugh out loud. A friendly bond was being formed between the two during this bout. You see, Guy had been coped up in his castle for centuries, bored out of his mind. This was a welcome distraction, so they fought for days, more as a contest of wills than anything else. But Rudra's borrowed skill, Michael, kept failing him. It was almost pitiful. Eventually, Guy began to adapt to Rudra's skill, and the thrill of the fight started to fade. He could see that he was going to win, but what fun is a victory if it ends the game? So instead, Guy and Rudra created a new competition to determine who would rule the world, which was basically they wouldn't fight directly. If you guys want to know more about that, watch the Masayuki or Rudra video. But look, Guy has this problem like always getting bored, but bro literally created a Demon Lord Council so they could do his work for him. But to be the arbitrator of the cardinal world also meant Guy had to protect it from destruction. So when an enraged Milim started a rampage because her pet was killed, Guy had to intervene alongside Ramirez and Dagro able to battle the Daughter of God for 7 days. In terms of power, he is so busted that he resists magical nullification, which is supposed to be the ultimate debuff to the Primordials. On top of that, Gi has a variety when it comes to magic, including spatial magic, fire magic, and nuclear magic, which Gi can use to create nuclear radiation that will slowly mutate and disintegrate his opponents. The strongest feat of his we've seen, in my opinion, comes in Volume 16, where he interacts and skirmishes with Cronoa and Time Stop. If you're able to withstand Time Stop, you guys already know all this, it means you have knowledge and skill to harness simple particles, which are the building blocks of creation. Yay. Man, every video I feel like I reference back to this Time Stop thing.
Nobody cares.
Furthermore, we haven't really seen Gi's ultimate skill Lucifer in full action yet. It has to do something with copying your opponent's skills and instantly becoming proficient with them. Gi can even do this with an opponent's ultimate skill, which is beyond broken. But all of this we'll probably get to see in the next volume of the novel, where I pray to Rimuru that we don't have Guy's battle off screen again. Please. But Guy is not alone, as he always has his two maids by his side, Rain the Blue and Misery the Green. After their core was crushed into dust and they revived, they easily accepted Guy as their master, pledging loyalty to him for eternity. When Guy was summoned to the Cardinal World, he brought them along too, granting both physical bodies and ordering them to slaughter the nation that summoned him. When this was over, Gi decided to give his two servants names. Blue would be named Rain after he saw the rain falling from the sky, and Green would be called Misery after Guy observed the misery she inflicted upon her victims. Ever since that moment, both have learned how to do chores like cooking, cleaning, as well as learning various music and dances to keep Gi entertained. While Misery takes her tasks very seriously, Rain hates working, often leaving the tedious work to her fellow servant and complains when she's forced to do her job. Despite this, both Rain and Misery reject any offer of freedom as they're completely loyal to Gi. Now, in regards to their strength, we have a better idea of Rain's abilities since she fought Diablo in Volume 11. And why did she do this? Well, because she was jealous that Noir has so much freedom and the luxury to be selfish. So she gives bro a little chop on the neck that's faster than the speed of sound. But this is Diablo. It did nothing. Then Diablo ends her entire career by saying, "I simply have no need to tap my full force for the likes of you." He completely embarrassed Rain as he dispersed every single one of her spells. However, a key difference was that Rain is using almost all her mental capacity just throwing these attacks around trying to outmaneuver Noir. Yet, Diablo was instead focused on creating a disintegration magic circle while using the exchange of spells as a freaking distraction. This completely catches Blue off guard, as by the time she realized what was happening, the multi-layered magic circle under her had already paralyzed her, with disintegration magic striking her head on, which didn't destroy her core but damaged her enough for her to back off. Meanwhile, Misery was also making a move in Volume 11 as she was secretly perpetrating the moves of the Western Council and the 5 Great Elders behind the scenes. When she finally got summoned to the Western Council, where she was going to murder everyone to give a warning to humanity, there was a hurdle. Another Primordial, Blanc the White, was there representing Tempest, and through her diplomatic skill had brought most of the council members under her pocket. Upon seeing the third strongest Primordial, Misery of course hesitated and made the correct decision to back off, because Misery was more used to doing office work for Guy while Blanc was out there in the wild battling. So even though Misery might have had the higher magical energy output, she couldn't make a move against White, especially since she too had a body now and a name thanks to Rimuru. Also, Blanc's closest subordinate Moss, another demon peer, was present there too. However, Rain and Misery wouldn't be taking L's for long, because in Volume 14, after Tempest thwarts the Eastern Empire's invasion, Gi and his maids come to visit our slime. Here, Gi has a simple request. Bro just wants Rimuru to train Rain and Misery for him after seeing how Diablo and the other 3 demonesses had grown in power being under Rimuru's influence, right? Oh yeah, he wasn't talking about battle training, he was talking about making god goddamn cakes.
Are you serious right now, bro?
But after Guy inquired about how Diablo managed to evolve into a demon lord, Rimuru had no choice but to reveal that he has the power to give souls to people who are at the verge of awakening, so Guy of course wanted his maids to become demon lords too. Because as Raphael puts it, a monster named by a higher level being has its very nature altered, so even if Rain and Misery have killed millions, they are unlikely of awakening. So Rimuru asks Raphael to casually evolve Rain and Misery into demon lords using souls given to him by Guy, leading us into the events of volume 17, where Rain gets her own chapter, which was written like she was talking to me directly. Like, I didn't even know we were like that, but this basically means she's my Pookie now, right guys, right? Look, she even got mad at me for thinking she's similar to Noir. Like, it's GG's, guys. I'm no longer single. Also, big shout out to Rain, because she told me most of the juicy info about the demons in this chapter. I mean, in our private conversation we were having, you know what I'm saying? She also said y'all should go buy some gamer subs, 10% off with code ABD.
Stop it. Get some help.
During the Tenma War, Misery and Rain were tasked with guarding Leon in El Dorado alongside Guy. They had gotten so much stronger in just a few months after their Demon Lord evolution that they were keeping up with Leon's power during training sessions, which would be put to good use as both of the Primordial colors would face two Primordial angels in Pico and Groshada. Their battle would be a fierce one. Their battle is honestly one of the coolest battles in all of Tensura, because all of it happens inside an igloo as they drink tea together and eat snacks. They do not battle, bro. Fuse is like allergic to showing battles. I swear. I swear, bro. However, this little chat inside the igloo wasn't just them trolling during the war, as Rain managed to get some crucial information from their enemies, especially regarding where their base was and the forces which were gathered. Honestly though, these two sadly get the short end of the stick, especially Misery, who is probably the weakest Primal currently in the story, as Rain, through her use of Cocutus, has shown she's stronger than Green. But at the end of the day, they're still full-fledged members of the Primordials, and maybe we'll see them do more within the final stretch of Tensura. Oh, also, Rain is a painter for Rimuru. Rain is my favorite Primordial, alright? W Rain. Put W Rain in the chat. Enough about colors who barely do anything in the story. Let's move to one of the cruelest primordial demons, Blanc the Original White, who used to call the eastern part of the Cardinal World her home. Blanc's tale, however, begins in a small lakeside province within the Eastern Empire, a region known for its beauty but insignificant military power. It was ruled by a small yet proud kingdom, but it got thrust into turmoil when its king decided to rebel against the empire because the king's only daughter was being claimed by an imperial noble as his concubine. Realizing that conventional warfare against the empire's might was futile, he turned to a darker, more forbidden means to protect his daughter by ordering his court of sorcerers to perform a ritual to summon one of the strongest archdemons possible. However, this would be the biggest mistake of Bro's life, as the one who showed up was the original White. Her aura alone crushed the spirits of all who saw her. The king, however, made countless pleas to the demon to aid in his rebellion. Blanc, amused by the king's audacity, agreed to assist, but at a price, as she demanded the soul of the princess as her payment. At first, the king refused because he summoned this demon to help save his daughter. He's not gonna give her away again. However, Blanc's overwhelming cocky and the pressure from the imminent imperial retaliation grew unbearable, so the king's resolve crumbled. Driven to the brink of insanity by the weight of his decision, the king finally agreed, giving Blanc permission to possess the body of the princess. The king's last shred of defiance was consumed by terror as the demon began to massacre the entire province with zero hesitation. The beautiful lake shore was soon dyed crimson with the blood of its citizens, giving the event its infamous name, the Bloody shore incident. The Empire, upon hearing of the destruction of one of their province, of course mobilized a force to subdue the demon. They knew that if Blanc fully incarnated, she could become a threat on the level of Guy Crimson, the most powerful of the demon lords, who is at the level of a true dragon, potentially throwing the entire world into chaos. Among the forces sent by the Empire were 3 men: Davis, Balt, and Gordon. These were among the greatest warriors the Empire had to offer, especially Davis, who was ranked number 11 in the Imperial Guardians. However, even they knew that facing a primordial demon was a battle that could only end in their deaths. Despite the odds, they used a legendary chain made of holy silver and monster hair, a weapon capable of binding even the most powerful of demons. In a desperate gambit, they managed to seal Blanc before she could fully incarnate. The victory, however, was hollow, as Blanc simply retreated as she had her belly full, but not before changing the Empire forever. The summoning of demons was outlawed, and every city in the Empire established a demon control office to prevent such a tragedy from ever occurring again. After this, the Primordial just kind of chilled out, guarding the gate to hell that resided in the Eastern Empire. That was until she was recruited by Diablo to join Rimuru's army, which she did alongside Carrera and Ultima. However, the first time she met Rimuru, Blanc said that she was planning on killing the slime on sight if he couldn't handle her aura. Luckily for Rimuru, he didn't even know that she was a freaking primordial. Bro just thought Shorty was just another archdemon Diablo found. However, don't let her looks fool you, because even before being named Testarossa by Rimuru, Diablo said that she has the power to kill him if she was serious, and we truly see her potential during the Eastern Empire War. When it first begins, Testarossa was sent to negotiate with the enemy army. I mean, she did technically do this by creating a line which they could not cross. The guy who didn't listen to the warning was of course Lieutenant General Gase, who immediately saw this white-haired baddie and knew she was trouble, ordering the snipers to fire bullets at the Primordial. For reference, these bullets moved at 3 times the speed of sound and were infused with magic, but Testarossa blocked it with her index finger. She then proceeded to take away the souls of everyone there besides Gaius, who was saved by the same Imperial Guardians who Testarossa pretended to be defeated by years before: Gordon, Balt, and Davis, all being disaster level threats. Obviously, seeing the person you believe dead is kind of shocking, but they're like, we did this before, this is no biggie, let's do it again. However, they weren't ready for the sheer power of the White Primordial. Like, Blanc had been named Testarossa now and had a physical body thanks to Rimuru. However, her most dangerous power is her nuclear skill, Death Streak. It's considered an evil form of magic which fires death rays that destroy targets on a genetic level. It's also able to destroy spiritual bodies at a 10-kilometer radius. It easily defeats all 3 Imperial Guardians, and she only became more powerful upon gaining her ultimate skill. This came after she took on Velgrin, a true dragon all by herself in part 2 of the invasion. You see, all 3 demon sisters took the true dragon on originally during the war, but lost, and the White Primordial got a chance to have a rematch against her. The battle still ended in a loss for Testarossa, but it's still really impressive that she was able to hold her own against a true dragon, and after the battle, she awakened her ultimate skill, Death King Belial. I'm gonna go into more detail about this battle in the big Eastern Empire video that I'm gonna be doing next month, so stay tuned for that. In simple terms, this skill, Belial, allows the Primordial to govern the aspect of life and death. It also gives her thought acceleration, universal perception, demon lord haki, space-time manipulation, multi-dimensional barrier, and all of creation. As for skill-specific abilities, there is life domination, which gives Testarossa the ability to control when, where, and how a target dies. And finally, life after death, granting her the power to plunge a target's soul into a separate hellish dimension. When not in battle, Testarossa represents Tempest as a sort of foreign minister or secretary of state, where currently she is helping Masayuki gain power within the Eastern Empire, as she's very familiar with politics, lending another skill to her already insane arsenal. Thanks to her help, the chosen hero was able to ascend the throne as the Eastern Empire's new emperor. It was at this moment Michael and Feldway striked, and Testarossa was forced to fight Virgo, a previous member of the criminal organization known as Cerberus. Despite Virgo's EP being much higher, Testarossa was winning. However, eventually the battle shifted when Virgo absorbed his allies, becoming much stronger than before, and so Testarossa was only able to defeat him due to Hinata's awakening, where they both grew closer together as well. Alongside Testarossa, Diablo also recruited the primordial yellow Jean to Rimuru's black numbers. Jean has the worst reputation out of all the primordials. Why? Because she's basically a high school delinquent looking for any excuse to enter a fight and is extremely carefree in nature. Before she became Rimuru's subordinate, she was tasked with guarding the underworld gate in Leon's territory at El Dorado, and every day she would basically nuke the city. Leon's knights tried negotiating with her multiple times, but she didn't give two shits. She just wanted Leon to notice her so they could fight. For some context, hundreds of years before this, John had created a powerful life form in a small country part of the sorceress dynasty of Salian. But Leon Cromwell, during his time as a chosen hero, just kind of waltzed in and beat the living shit out of it. While this was a power play by Yellow's sister Violet, she had no clue and spent all her time developing flashy and powerful magic so she could get revenge on Leon. But Yellow's life was about to change forever when Diablo showed up and recruited several powerful demons to Rimuru's cause, and she was a great asset, becoming one of Rimuru's 12 guardian generals known as Carrera now. While not in battle, Carrera is the chief justice, being tasked with delivering final judgments on criminal cases and disputes. But in terms of power, she has access to nuclear magic, being a formidable fighter. During the war with the Eastern Empire, she was able to take on Velgrind for some time. While this ended in her defeat, it finally allowed her to become a true demon lord right after, which also helped her when she took on Tatsuya Kondo. Originally, this man was pretty much dominating every fight in the war due to him having an ultimate skill while she didn't. Like, Tatsuya Kondo is the fourth strongest in the entire empire. You have Michael at the top, Feldway, Velgrind, and then Tatsuya Kondo, and Carrera defeated this guy. But that was only thanks to Ciel showing up, granting Carrera the ultimate skill, Annihilation King Abaddon. This basically gives the Primordial the power of unlimited destruction, being the rupture of space and time, allowing Carrera to pull in Asta and surpass her limits. But the most important aspect of the ability is to pretty much nuke the world if she wanted to, casually. This was possible due to the ability Final Collapse Annihilation Wave, which was so strong even Kondo knew he couldn't withstand it. But what if I told you she didn't have one but two ultimates now? As after she defeated Kondo, he passed his soul to her, granting Carrera the ultimate skill Sandalphon, Lord of Condemnation, which lets her apply specific effects to her attacks, like breaking a person's magic offense and defense. But that's not all Kondo gave her. He also bestowed Carrera his gun. You know, the one that was able to brainwash Veldora and turn him to the Eastern Empire side? Yeah, that gun. So she can pretty much shoot anyone into submission, as well as a buttload of other bullets that can move at light speed and penetrate all barriers. So if you can't tell, Carrera isn't messing around, and during the Tenma War, she was taking on one of the insect lords known as Zes, who is said to have been on the same level of strength as the angel Zalarios. Finally, we have the third demoness, the Violet Primordial Ultima, also one of the 12 guardian generals and a leader of the black numbers. Despite her childish appearance, Ultima is in fact as cruel and calculative as Diablo. For example, one of her main goals was to manifest into the cardinal world with a physical body. So for centuries, she had countless failed attempts and ploys, such as when she was summoned by the Queen of Raja, who mistakenly believed her to be a goddess. The queen, desperate to save her people, pleaded for Violet's aid. Also, what she was saving her people from, basically Violet brainwashed her and made her paranoid that a big threat was coming, but Ultima was actually the one summoning the demon threat. Anyways, Violet gave her a magical tiara that could perform miracles. However, the tiara came with a deadly cost. Each use drained the wearer's life force and stained their skin with Violet's magic. Violet then formed a contract with the queen. If the queen or any of her descendants became fully stained by the tiara's magic, Violet would win the game and claim their body as her vessel. If they resisted the curse, the queen would win. Violet assigned her aide Lakua to observe the royal family, but when he disobeyed her by interfering, she was forced to end the game and sever ties with him. Years later, in the kingdom of Codius, Violet's admirer, Gustav, sought to create a new vessel for her by using Princess Zenobia. Despite interference, Gustav managed to seemingly succeed. However, Violet was displeased because instead of providing her with a material form, Gustav had merely forced her to manifest within Zenobia, using her own power. The situation was further complicated when the Demon Lord Luminous, who was as powerful as Violet, witnessed the truth behind Gustav's scheme. Furious with his failure to meet her expectations, Violet killed him for his incompetence. Realizing that Zenobia's body was not suitable, she abandoned her and continued her search for a more fitting vessel. Until hundreds of years later, Diablo shows up and Violet decides to join Rimuru, lending her strength to him until she gets bored. This quickly changes because, it's Rimuru, you're never gonna get bored when you're around this dude, so she decides to pledge her allegiance to our slime, gaining the name Ultima. Violet would serve as Tempest's chief judge, where Ultima is responsible for overseeing the interpretation and application of laws within Tempest. She ensures that the legal code is correctly followed and that judgments are consistent with the established legal framework. Rimuru chose her for this task because as a primordial, Ultima will have no biases against any defendant, meaning her ruling will always be fair and balanced. However, the area Ultima excels even better at is being a true demon lord and wielding the ultimate skill, Samuel, Lord of Poison. A good example of her power being showcased is her fight against Damrata of the Eastern Empire. He's not only a saint, but also one of the most powerful warriors in the Eastern Empire's military, only outclassed by Velgrand, Michael, and Kondo. But until she got this ultimate skill, she wasn't sure she was going to win. Ultima always felt inferior to the other primals as she could never use her powers to the same effect as her counterparts. But in her moment of desperation, CL went, "Here, have a free ultimate specifically suited for your weakness," as Samuel looked at a person's weakness and created a suitable poison for them. On top of that, the skill grants the Ultima thought acceleration, universal perception, Demon Lord's hockey, multidimensional barriers, and space-time manipulation. Ultima also has a skill known as World of Annihilation, which allows her to kill all life forms that don't have ultimate skills, leading Rimuru to ban the use of it, which just goes to show how strong she is. Oh yeah, this was never going to be a fair fight, and so Damrata was absorbed by the Primordial, with her gaining all his strength and experience. During the Great Tenma War, Ultima would be tasked with going to Demon Lord Daggerul's domain to lead an assault on Hera's tower, where she took on and defeated Pico and Gracia, two primordial demons alongside Daggerul. But the attack took a turn for the worst when Daggerul was converted to the enemy's side, forcing Rimuru to get involved. Now, if you guys are wondering why I'm zooming past their stories during the Tenma War, that's because after this 1.5 hour long Eastern Empire video I've been cooking, if that's successful, I want to do a full recap of the Tenma War. So please buy some gamer subs and support the Patreon, where I'm showing y'all the behind the scenes of how me and Zach are making the Eastern Empire video. Moving on, the final primordial we have is the GOAT himself, Diablo. This man is powerful and is also a huge simp for Daddy Rimuru. In direct contrast to Guy and his other fellow primordials, Diablo refused to evolve, preferring to retain his original form and enjoy his freedom. Diablo's refusal to progress made no sense to the other primals. For example, Rain the Blue could not fathom why someone with Noir's potential would reject greater power, especially since gaining dominion over the others seems to be in a demon's nature, making Diablo an outlier amongst the fellow colors. However, the uniqueness of Noir doesn't end there, as even his mindset is built different. Guy is ambitious and seeks to enhance his power and influence continually. In contrast, Diablo values freedom over power. He has the capability to get stronger, but he finds satisfaction in his current state and enjoys living without the burdens that come with more power. However, Diablo could never just be satisfied being in hell, so he would venture into the cardinal world when he pleased, which is also an outlier because all the other demonesses, they were spending their entire existence trying to figure out a way to incarnate with a physical body in the cardinal world. But Diablo is just like, That's light work for me. One of these instances was when he encountered Shizu, more specifically her mask, which he was fixated towards due to its paradoxical nature, so he followed it. Just like you guys should be following diligently, because in 2 weeks, mark that onto your calendars, the time loop Chloe video is coming. Eventually, the mask led Noir to Rimuru, becoming his subordinate and being named Diablo. We have a whole 30-minute video on Diablo's origin and backstory, so if you want more context, I highly recommend checking that out. But what about his powers? After falling in love with our slime god, Diablo finally vowed to become stronger, and so his Tempter unique skill evolved to the ultimate Azazel, Lord of Temptation. It is one of the demonic series skills where its function is control and domination. It grants its user the ability to manipulate and command others with an absolute authority that is difficult to resist. This aspect of the skill is particularly useful in battles and political maneuvers, as it allows the wielder to turn enemies into allies or subjugate opponents without physical confrontation. The control exerted by Azazel is not merely psychological like the unique skill Tempter, but extends to a profound spiritual level. Then there is the aspect of Azazel to upgrade lower level skills, which is insanely busted in the hands of a magic scientist like Diablo, with this man upgrading almost all of his skills due to his years of experience. Other than Rimuru, Diablo might be the character with most skills and abilities in Tensura. Some of the strongest ones include All of Creation, Demon Lord's Haki, Universal Perception, Multidimensional Barrier, Law Manipulation, and then there is also Temptation World and Reality Exchange, which creates a tempting dimension to entrap the victim. And on top of all of that, after Diablo's evolution and faith in Rimuru, he was granted the ability to use holy magic and spirit magic like necromancy, similar to Birthday, which was used to revive millions of angels in the current Tenma War. Like, bro is so strong during the Eastern Empire War, he doesn't fight because he states the only person he would have a hard time against would be Velgrin. Everyone else would just be boring. I mean, he still confronts Feldway, but even that guy is like, fuck that, as fighting Diablo would have just been a hassle. That's how strong he is. If you guys want to know how the Chloe video and the big Eastern Empire video is progressing, check out our Patreon we just launched. We don't want Shueisha or any of the other manga companies striking our videos, which is supposed to be fair use, but these Japanese companies, they don't understand that. Also, I'm going insane mode on this production for the Eastern Empire video, where me and one of our editors, Ayush, are literally learning Unreal Engine to recreate the Tensura map for some sick transitions on that video. Hopefully it works out. If not, I'm gonna make a Minecraft map. Don't hold me to it though. This shit seems hella hard. Meanwhile, go check out the Masayuki video, because I see a lot of you didn't click on that. Please go watch that.